Football Friday at 4 o'clock, which means we are joined by Ron Jaworski. You can see Jaws on the NBC Sports Philly pre- and post-game show. Hey, Jaws, how you doing?
Spike, another quiet week in Philadelphia. Let's get to the ball game.
You know, Jaws, I need to tune in to the NBC Sports Philly post-game show after a game at some point soon when you guys are not shell-shocked. I need one of those. Hopefully we can get one of those on Sunday.
I'm confident we will, but there's no guarantee. This team is just not playing consistent football enough on either side of the football that you can say, hey, it's going to be a blowout. Although my prediction may scare you a little bit. We're just not playing good team football. There's been spots where by the way, the defense played phenomenal this past week against the Chargers. I thought it was their best defense performance of the year. The offense at times looked like it really knows what it's doing. At times it looks lost. Special teams, good and bad. It's just kind of an uneven football team, and the record's indicative of that. An 8-5 team in those 8 wins, we probably didn't play as good enough to win 8 of them, but we're finding ways to win. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight in this matchup.
So, if we could put the 5 turnovers to the side for a moment.
You can't.
You
can't.
Well, I know as a whole, just to get to what you saw on Monday night, that what were the good things in the offense? Because it did look like they tried some things that they weren't trying earlier in the year.
No question, it was different. There was a crossing routes, there was a deep post routes. There was some movement, there was some motion, there were some different formations. I thought there was a serious effort to give the offense a different look, and at times it looked very good. At times it didn't look good. But I think one thing that popped up to me once again, where we're having trouble, the offense and Jalen Hurts, is against the blitz. And I know last week we spoke about this when Jalen was 5 of 15 2 weeks ago. What is he this week? 5 of 14. 1 interception, averaging 4.5 yards per attempt, 63 yards. Not good enough against the blitz. You must beat the blitz. That's where the explosive plays come. There's a play in the game against the Chargers. Jahan Dotson is running down the middle of the field. He's going to hit his head on the damn goalpost if Jalen sees him. The blitz gets him. He panicked. You got to hit those. You get 2 or 3 of those shots every game. You got to hit them. You have to hit those. Those are those explosive plays you have to have in the National Football League.
So if you're game planning for Sunday offensively, seeing what you saw on Monday, what do you do? Because they got a lot of criticism for not doing some of those things. They did them, and there was a little bit of success, but there was a lot of problems. So is this, if you're calling the plays and you're designing the game plan for Sunday, what do you do?
I think if you look at the season so far, the risk-averse offense has won us a lot of football games. Maybe the fans didn't like it. Maybe they wanted to drop back 40 times and sling the ball around and, make interceptions or throw interceptions. But, you find a way to win. To me, the bottom line is to win the football game. And we talk about this every single week. It may not be pretty, but you find a way. And I think right now, if we're really looking at this football team and say what is the best part of our football team right now, you got to say the defense. The defense has been playing phenomenal football, with the exception of the Chicago game. They've been phenomenal. And as I said earlier, it was the best game I've seen them play all year long against the Chargers. That being said, we seem to take the lead from what fans want. Oh, we want more passing, we want more throwing. And I'm not going to say yes or no. Maybe our quarterback just isn't good at 40 passes a game. Maybe he's really good. Maybe the Super Bowl quarterback at 26 to 28 passes a game. Control his amount of reads that he has to make. Control what he has to. Control number of snaps under center. Control number of snaps in the shotgun. What kind of motion you want to use. Don't recreate the game plan every week. Play to what the quarterback does best. He's not going to win many games throwing 40 times playing like he did against the Chargers. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, given what he does best and their sort of struggles, because, they have struggled running the ball as well. Does he have to run the ball more than he has, especially in planned runs? Their planned runs year to year are down about, half of what they were. Is it time? I know you'd love to save it for the playoffs, but given where they are, is it time for him to maybe, I'm not saying run 15 times, but to run the ball a little more than he has this season?
If we say that and Jalen believes that, I'm not saying he does believe it one way or another, what you start doing is you take away from the passing game. And I've said this many times, and I know you guys, when I look at tape, I love looking at the end zone tape, the all-22, and I'm seeing everyone. And I watch the quarterback's face mask. And I don't want to ever see the quarterback's face mask dropping down, because when it's dropping down, he's not reading coverage. He's looking for somewhere to run. So receivers could be open. He's never going to see him. I'm not saying he. I'm saying in general, not Jalen.
Yep.
If you want to start running the football, you got to drop your face mask because you're looking for alleys to run the football in. That's not how you play consistent championship quarterback play in the NFL. So I think you got to be very careful to say, okay, we want him to run more. We want him to start looking for options in the offensive line to run through rather than design. I'm okay with designing a few running plays a game. I'm good with a few RPOs. But by the way, the last interception by Jefferson was an RPO. We want more RPOs? Not like that.
Yeah, you got to get that ball to Saquon there. Like that read was to give it to Saquon, right?
We should have went to Saquon. If you got to the outside, we actually had Cam Jurgens was about 3.5 yards downfield as well, which the penalty wasn't called. But maybe if it wasn't an interception, they would have called it. I don't know. But, the RPO is a precision-type play, and it's got to happen really quick, or your linemen are downfield. Now, if I look at it, I didn't run RPO, so I'm not going to be an expert on that, thank goodness. But I think once he decided that he wasn't going to give it to Saquon, the ball should have gone and got it real quick, and take you 3 or 4 yards, maybe break a tackle, maybe score. But Jalen's got to know in his mind, you can't get to number 2 on an RPO.
It's hard to do, man. It really is.
It happens so fast.
Yeah. And by then, the defense has figured out exactly what you're trying to do.
Your offensive linemen are downfield. They don't know.
Yeah.
It's called a run-pass option. We all know that.
That's
the linemen are blocking run.
Yep.
So that ball's not out in a damn near second. They're downfield doing what they should be doing.
Yep, and we've seen that in the past where they used to get called for that all the time in the past where Jalen was indecisive.
Yeah.
With the run game, Ron, we saw some bright spots, and then in the second half, it seemed like it got a little stagnant, and they went away from it a little bit. What did you see from the running game standpoint that we can build on and take into this game and potentially even the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think there's, the running game, we can all see it pretty good. We see who's blocking, who's not blocking. Passing game gets a little more complex and sophisticated, but the running game is knock someone's ass off the ball. It's not that hard. The double team down at the first and goal from the 2-yard line was bad blocking. With the game on the line, we don't get the job done on a double team. That's high school football. We don't do that. I'm sure the coach let the players know about that. We get first down 2-yard line. We got to knock it in. We got to knock someone's ass off the ball. We didn't do it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't do it. But running is an attitude. It's a mentality. You can knock people off the ball. This Raider team is a pretty darn good defensive team. Their team as a whole is obviously only won 2 games, but this defense can play some football now. So we better be ready to play. They're going to show up to win this game. I'm talking about the Raiders, so we better be ready.
Yeah, how much trouble are we in? So we thought we would get Lane Johnson back, and we're not going to, it looks like, on Sunday. How much trouble are we in with Max Crosby against Fred Johnson on Sunday?
Well, Max Crosby lines up on the left side of their defensive line literally every snap. He's not a guy they move around. They like to put him right in his spot, and he's there all day. So, we hope no matter who's going to, we know whoever's going to play that right tackle spot better be ready to play because Max Crosby has a motor like no one's ever seen. You watch the Raiders play, the one guy that flashes every single play is Max Crosby. He's almost unblockable on the single block. We're going to have to find a way to double team. And we haven't done a real good job of our double teams. Saquon's not a really good blocker. Dallas Goedert's not a real good line of scrimmage blocker. He when he gets to the perimeter, he can make some plays. But we got to block Max. We got to block Max Crosby. No, there is absolutely no doubt about that.
Well, Jaws, I am terrified to ask you for your prediction because I haven't, I've been back on the show for 2 football seasons now. I haven't heard you as annoyed with the Philadelphia Eagles as you've been.
Right now.
I'm getting to the point, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is your prediction for Sunday?
There's only one team I hate more than Dallas Cowboys. That's the Raiders.
Yeah.
They cost me a Super Bowl ring back in 1980. I'll never forget it. Never forgive them. So there's no way I could ever pick the Raiders, ever. I don't care if they've won 5 Super Bowls in a row and been playing the Eagles. I would never, ever pick the Raiders. So I'm picking the Eagles 30. Big day for the offense, 14.
30-14.
Right.
That would feel good, Joss. 30-14.
I feel better, too. I've got to get off my chest.
Yeah.
That's all good. Yep, we all got to do it.
All right, Jaws. We will talk to you next week at the same time. Have a great weekend, and thanks.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank
All right,
you.
bro. Yep.
There he is.